Hi, my name is Mindy Reynolds, and today I'm going to discuss Chapter 22, Telepresence. What is telepresence? Well, if you go to slide 2, you'll see that the textbook defines telepresence as a series of technologies that allow for face-to-face meetings between people who are separated geographically. In my business, we like to say that telepresence is meeting face-to-face without going place to place. Some telepresence technologies include video conferencing, video telephony, telerobotics, and avatar-based virtual presence. Now I'll give some examples of those at the end of the presentation. On slide number 3, I discussed the goals and benefits. Some of the goals of telepresence are to provide immediate, deep feedback to meetings, group communication settings, and to remote operations such as telerobotics. Some benefits include live, face-to-face communication for multiple people, multiple locations. This captures verbal and nonverbal communications. If you think about it, if over half of your communication is nonverbal, you'll be able to pick up on body language, posture, facial expressions, or on verbal communication such as tone, inflection, or choice of words. You'll also be able to save on travel costs. If a large group of people travel to a meeting, whether it's international or domestically, you'll have to pay travel expenses, plane tickets, taxi fares, rental cars, hotel rooms, dinners out. All those things can be saved if you're able to meet right in your place of business. It also improves business efficiency. This telepresence room that I'm sitting in right now is 2 doors down from my office. So I'm able to get up, walk a few steps, come in and have a meeting, and get right back to work. Not a lot of time spent on travel away from work or from my home, for that matter. If you go to slide number 4, you'll see information about the NLR telepresence room. This room that I'm in right now has access to 50 other telepresence rooms within our company globally, and I've seen it used for international meetings, whether that's with a company representative or actually at our international business units themselves, group collaboration across business units. I've seen a group of engineers come up in here and work with another group of engineers from another facility on the same project, so they're able to collaborate and then get right back to work. It's also good for one-on-one meetings with supervisors. So my supervisor sits right across the hall from me, but his manager sits in another business unit in another state. So he has weekly one-on-one meetings with him in here, so they have eye-to-eye contact in real time with each other. Next best thing to meeting in person. I've also seen this room used for supplier meetings. One time a supplier delivered a defective part to our company. It caused a lot of damage, so they were able to remove that defective part, bring it up here onto the table, begin a telepresence meeting with that supplier, and they could actually visually go over the defective part together. And because they're able to do that right away, they're able to have resolve the situation quickly. So this room is a boardroom suite. It has 3 cameras. If you look over the top of my head, you can see what looks like 3 little gun turrets, but they're really cameras, and they're actually very, very sensitive. So they're motion controlled, so if you move or adjust, or if the microphones pick you up coughing or sneezing, you will be on camera as the center of attention. So you probably want to mute the microphones that are built into the tabletop, and you'll want to position yourself as still as possible so that you're not picked up as the center of the meeting. So you can see that there's a presentation screen, so there's a flat high-def monitor that you can see everybody else. Some of the downside maybe of having a high-def monitor is it does show the face very close up, so you do see imperfections or stray hairs or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you're ready to go for your meeting that day. And then there's a presentation screen that's off to the left of the screens. So you can see the actual PowerPoint presentation or something that somebody wants to present outside of the cameras on the people in the meeting. There's also a video bridge that sits on the table as part of the phone where people can call in globally and be heard. So that's an important piece of hardware. On to slide 5, teleconferencing continuum. Teleconferencing has evolved through technology improvements, thus it's hard to exactly define. Everybody has experience with some of the equipment somehow. So whether you have experience with audio, video, telepresence, or computer-mediated connectivity, you're familiar with parts of it. So that's why telepresence is hard to explain, how you can meet face-to-face with technology. The least natural way of teleconferencing that people are familiar with is maybe the IM chat conferencing, or web conferencing, or through email. And then you can see, according to this illustration on slide 5, that if you move towards the left of the continuum, it's becoming more natural. So there's audio conferencing, slow scan video conferencing, compressed video, full motion video, and telepresence. And then all the way to the left is the most natural face-to-face meeting. At this time, telepresence is the closest thing or the best thing that you can get to a face-to-face meeting with technology today. On to slide 6. Slide 6 has our background. Like we said, some of the audio, the teleconferencing, would be three-way calling, or a conferencing feature where you can call in. An audio bridge connects multiple locations. There's also the video and telepresence, the See Me technology. Companies involved in this hardware market include Cisco Systems, Hewlett-Packard, and Polycom. The room that I'm sitting in right now has Cisco hardware and Cisco software. So some of the hardware formats include desktop models, which are nice to have, but might not be the best because they can put 1 or 2 people on them. They're not very efficient, and you don't get eye-to-eye contact. There's also meeting room system, which might hold a few more people. The downside is a lot of people can't be involved in this meeting together. Whereas in the boardroom suite like this, we can link to 6 or 7 other teleconference boardroom suites and have a full international teleconference. There's also computer-mediated, see what I see, ways to teleconference. There's a webinar or a webcast. It's a one-way meeting. So when our CEO gives a town hall or a state of the business address, it's a video that I can log in and watch. It's live, but it's meant to be a one-way meeting. He does all the talking and I do all the listening. There's also a feature on there that I can send an instant message to a moderator, and maybe that question will be asked, but generally it's a one-way meeting. There's also web conferencing, which is very popular. We use WebEx here at our facility. It's real-time audio and or real-time video. So what happens is someone will send a link to a web conference, a WebEx, and we'll log in through our computer to watch the presenter's desktop, and at the same time we're given a phone number that we can call in and listen. Now you really should mute your line so you don't pick up background noise in all these other different offices, but it's great because you can unmute your phone and ask a question at the same time. And it's also presented in real time, so it's very handy. What are some recent developments with telepresence? Well, on slide 7, you can see that you're able to link telepresence and converging technologies into a unified communications model. That is really important now, because since this book was published, we now have mobile devices that are capable of teleconferencing and video conferencing and telepresence technologies. It's nice to have all of these work together. Matter of fact, there was adoption of worldwide teleconferencing standards by the International Telecommunications Union to ensure that all teleconferencing technologies are able to communicate with one another regardless of brand. And as more companies adopt the technology, this is very important because there'll be more brands that are rolling out new software or new technologies. And so you want to make sure that all systems not only talk to each other, but are backward compatible as well. The current status of telepresence includes prices for hardware and software have dropped drastically due to maturing technologies and increased teleconferencing options. That's really important because when this book was published, it said that a boardroom suite would cost between $100,000 and $400,000 for a top-of-the-line boardroom suite, when actually the boardroom suite that I'm sitting in right now costs $130,000, and it would be on the higher end for teleconferencing suites. So you can see that with maturity, the price has dropped drastically. Also, audio conferencing internet technologies such as Skype entered the market and allowed more users to access this technology. No longer do you have to be a big business to get in on trends with audio conferencing, video conferencing, or telepresence, because you're able to do it from home. For example, I was able to talk to my husband when he was on a mission trip through Skype, or we can call the grandparents and let my kids see them. I know that my friend has a husband who's deployed in the military, and he contacts his children through Skype at night and reads them bedtime stories. Web conferencing is also gaining popularity. Like I mentioned, WebEx, a lot of presentations are going on with webinars or web conferencing. And also, telepresence is seen as a green solution for reducing energy consumption related to travel. Well, that's a no-brainer. Think about airline fuel, taxi fuel, just your expense in traveling. It's huge. So it's a great way to save energy, just walking to your telepresence room and then heading right back to work. Some factors to watch are converging technologies. Since this book was printed, we have mobile devices and electronics that are working together for telepresence type applications. Think about FaceTime. That is a video conferencing telepresence between two phones in real time. I know that I use FaceTime to talk to my 11-year-old son often, and he can call me at work or I can call him at home and we can have a conversation. There's also Skype and even television integration with teleconferencing options as well. There's Skype on your laptop, for example, or there's avatar meetings. An avatar meeting is when you log in and you design a character called your avatar, which interacts with other characters, other avatars. The only time I've ever used this is in a video game where I logged in and interacted with other avatars, but truthfully this is used for telepresence technologies as a way to give everybody equal footing. So if I log in as my avatar talking to your avatar, we don't have the awkwardness of body language or international differences, customs that might make a meeting uncomfortable. Rather, we all are on equal ground speaking through our avatars. There's also robotics. So there's robotic telepresence. This picture on slide number 9 is actually from the University of Arkansas. I saw this telepresence robot in person. It looks like an iPad attached to a remote control Segway scooter, but this telepresence robot can travel anywhere around campus, well actually anywhere they take it for that matter. It can roll into a chemistry lab and allow people to see what's going on in there. The book gave examples for robotic telepresence to be bomb squads that can roll in a robot and get a view of the situation from the robot's perspective. Another way you can use robotics is for the military. They could do that with simulations. This could also be used, think about it as a guest speaker. If the guest speaker is not able to travel to this telepresence classroom, he could actually use the robot and speak to his class. So it's a neat technology. It can be used in a lot of places. It just isn't as popular right now. But with the way that software and hardware are becoming more mature, we might see more of this in the future. So my question for you today is, what are some creative uses of telepresence other than ones mentioned in the textbook or on this video that businesses or individuals can leverage for their benefit? I look forward to hearing what you come up with. Thanks for listening today.